Creating limitations today. I taped my zoom lens to stick it at 40 millimeters. The reason for me doing that is that I'm sleeping at my brother's place and I brought only my zoom lens and my tiny 35mm pancake from Samyang, which is not weather sealed, and as you can see it's raining, so I had no choice to use my zoom lens, which is weather sealed, but I wanted to shoot in the 35 or 40mm range, so yeah, little pieces of tape, and now it's stuck at 40mm, and I'll see how I can handle this focal length. If you have a zoom lens and are tempted to invest in a new prime, you probably face the dilemma of what focal length to go for, 28, 35, 50 or above. Having a zoom lens can be very useful to make further experiments before spending your money and forcing yourself to shoot in any of these focal lengths that you are tempted to get a prime for. As you saw earlier, and probably on the thumbnail, I put some tape to make sure that my focal lengths do not change at all throughout the photo session. I actually got this tip from a viewer more than a year ago. If you simply place your zoom lens at the desired focal length, it will eventually move when you hold your camera down or if you move the barrel unintentionally. With the tape, you are sure it's not moving and you won't be shooting at another focal length without you noticing it. .40mm ended up being very close to 35. If we do the maths, it's only about 10% more tight, which is not very significant. 45mm is another popular focal length, and now I understand why. It has really something different to offer compared to the 35mm. Again, if we make a quick calculation, 45 is a little bit more than 20% tighter than 35, and here it starts to be a noticeable difference. I often complained in the past how 35mm is just a tad too wide for the photos I like to take, and I felt less like this when shooting at 40mm. It still is a very natural perspective, extremely close to the 35mm and to the way our human eye perceives the scene. The depth, the compression and the scale of everything in the frame feels very natural, but with this extra 10% reach, composing became slightly easier than at 35mm.
I have not been really lucky with the weather during my stay in Switzerland so far, at least photography-wise, but this trip was definitely centered around spending time with my family and friends, and photography came after. The weather was almost perfect when hanging out with them, but not when going out to do photography. That's how it is. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes not, but the most important is going out and getting in the reps. When the weather is not as you hoped, it also forces you to think differently about the subject you will photograph and how to compose your shots to get something nice. Whether you come back with good photos or not, it will serve as a very good practice no matter what.
Sobre esa base avanzo, digamos, ¿no? En lo que hago.